Well, hello everybody. This is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And as you can see, I have a friend with me today. This is Jennifer McLean.
Hello!
Many of you have heard me talk about Jennifer. I know I have actually recommended Jennifer and her program, Healing with the Masters. Jennifer is such a kindred spirit. She's a true friend of mine. I just love you so much, and I'm so excited to introduce you to my family in this capacity. You're just amazing. And one thing I always say about you, I always use you as an example, Jennifer, because you really combine what I like to call the law of polarity, but really you do your inner work, and yet you also do your outer work. So, you are successful in what you do because you really align yourself and you do your inner stuff. You're focused on what your beliefs are and your thoughts and your emotions, and you process those type of things. And yet also you take action in the physical world to make sure that you're manifesting what you want to manifest.
That's right. It's a beautiful combination of spirit and density. I mean, this body of ours is this, and our journey here on this planet is a journey of density, really. And it's an opportunity for us to move through and use everything. That's one of the tenets of our business program that we've created called Success Signature, is to use everything. And thank you for noticing that. It's definitely the only way I see of being alive here right now is because it's not easy, is it? Sometimes it can be really, really hard. And so, but all of it, from my perspective, is here for me. All of it is here for each of us. And all of it is moments of triggers and nudging. And I call them divine nudging that moves us into an expansion and moves us, as you say, into action. So.
Yes. Yeah, it is funny because we are both human and we are both spirit. And it's like the dance between both worlds, really, because it's both and.
We're both. It's an and. You're right.
Yeah.
It's an and.
Yeah.
One of my favorite teachers and my own personal coach and healer is Anna Mika, and she is writing a new book called And I think that's it. We live in a world of and, not buts.
Yes.
In fact, I recently wrote an article for my Success Signature blog post called Removing Your Butts, and that's just with one T. The other one is a weight loss program. It's different.
Both would be very interesting.
Both are good.
See, and both and.
And there you go. See, you just live it naturally.
It's taken a lot of hard work to go there, I'll tell you what.
Right,
it wasn't always that way.
Isn't it something? I mean, getting to the and is somewhat vigilant, but in the best way possible. It's a daily practice of allowing yourself to see the opportunities in life instead of seeing the obstructions.
Yes, absolutely. So I love what you talk about, and I love how you train people in business. You have a program called Your Success Signature. So can you describe what that is?
Yeah, it's the full program's called Living Your Success Signature Business, and it's based on the principle of you having an individual success signature. And it's cool the way you talked about me, because that's kind of what the program is, and that's how we focus on it. I was a corporate executive for 25 years. I worked in startups. I worked with some of the largest technology companies on the planet. You name it, the top brands, I was there helping them launch into the world where there was nothing before. And I also worked in some of I worked in other industries too. I worked in automotive. I did aftermarket, if you can believe it. Automotive aftermarket.
Oh.
Yep. I was there helping people pimp their cars.
Pimp my ride.
Yep. I worked in retail. I've done a lot in corporate America. And I often scratched my head and said, what the hell am I doing here? Because I didn't enjoy it that much, but I was good at it. And I realized it was the training ground for what's next. And simultaneously, I was also a healer. For 22 years, I have been a healer. I trained for about my first 5 years in polarity and craniosacral, and then I invented my own system called body dialoguing. And what this program is, finally, is taking all that business experience, all that experience as a healer and combining them together to create a program that I call creating heart-centered entrepreneurs. Now, everyone is heart-centered, but sometimes we don't activate it. We don't go there. We don't ignite it. We don't trust it. We don't live from there. And it is the secret sauce, as you know.
Yes.
It is the secret sauce to success. Yeah. It's the secret sauce to peace, to love, to joy, to happiness, to abundance, to flow, to wealth. It is the secret sauce. And I discovered it because I think I was trained in two disciplines, the discipline of business and the discipline of healing, so deeply over so many years. And what was so cool is that I started my own business. I was a business strategist in corporate America. I worked for agencies in the latter part of my career. And I finally quit. I was so done with clients. And I found it difficult to continue working there. So I quit cold turkey, and I found myself trying this internet marketing stuff. This is where I was going to make my millions. And I took a course, and it was a great course. I loved it. I got it. I understood it. But I applied it once again as in a client relationship. I chose someone else to represent and serve them, and it just didn't work. I put all my eggs in that basket, and I was completely broke. I was about to be evicted. I had 10 days before I was going to be living in my car. Wow. And it's those moments, and this is part of what I teach in Success Signature. It's those moments that are actually here for us. You know, those moments that are nudging us into an expansion that actually couldn't be possible without them. I can see you nodding, and I can see your audience nodding. Some of your audience is nodding. And if you reflect back on those times in your life, when you made it through and you did great. And how do I know you did great? Because you're listening to this. You made it. Yay! And you're going to make it again and again and again. And there's going to be seasons of expansion and compression. And that was my season of compression. But from that moment, I figured out the formula, the succinct formula for how to marry the heart with business, how to marry the profound, deep skill set I learned in corporate America. I actually even invented a system of marketing called credibility branding. And so the Success Signature is based in part on credibility branding, but the other huge part is the heart. And that is we actually activate people's success signatures. So let me just explain a little bit what the Success Signature is. And again, this was something I discovered through my journey of almost living in my car, which is every single solitary person on this planet has a unique human potential, has a unique set of gifts, has a unique purpose, is a divine kind of puzzle piece that is very much designed to fit in with the whole and serves a deep, deep purpose to make yourself happy, to allow your soul to expand. And in turn, when your soul expands, all of our souls expand because we're really one. We are one entity, and you, Christy, and your audience, each one of you, is a really important piece of the puzzle, powerfully important. And so many people scratch their head and says, I don't know what I'm here to do. Well, there is no doing. That's part of the answer. There's truly being. And what we do in Success Signature is we first of all activate the Success Signature. And it is that place deep within. It's that place in the heart that when seen, oh man, it becomes your partner in manifestation and creation. And I know that a lot of the work you do in your coaching program is very much in alignment with this. And what we do is we take it a little bit in a different direction, and we give you a business platform now that your Success Signature sits upon. So unlike other business programs that I've taken, listen, I've bought, well, maybe not like you, but I've bought every single internet marketing, every single one. I own all of them. I love them. I love Frank. I love Brendan. I love Ryan Dice. I love all of them. And I've learned something very great from each of them. But something I also learned is that most of those guys teach tactics. Now, there's strategies in there, but it's mostly tactics. A, B, C, D. You do this, you'll be rich. Now, here's the challenge. When you're doing tactics only, those tactics are usually not aligned with you,
Yes.
with who you are, with what you're up to, with your unique success signature. And so when you tap into your success signature, what we found happening, what's so cool about creating new programs is that you don't know exactly what's going to happen until they happen. We suspected. But what's happening now is the people that are in the program are saying, oh my God, all those programs make sense to me now. Now I know out of the multitude of tactics of investments I've made, I can go back now, that's what they're telling us, and say, and look at the tactics and say, okay, out of the 40 tactics, these 4 are the ones that are for me.
Yeah.
Because they're aligned and congruent with my success signature, with who I am, with how I'm showing up, with how I stand, what I stand for in the world. And we walk through the first 3 modules, really walk through. It's an 18-module program. And the first 3 modules really walk our folks through activating their success signature. We actually release some of the past. We do healing work around releasing the past, which allows more of the success signature to just shine through. And then we help people with the very foundational process of how to create vision, mission, standards, these really weird things that don't really work in corporate America because they're not living documents. Well, now when you work from your success signature, you're now working in this level of, oh, can you feel it? It's coming through. The energy is flowing.
Yes.
There's actually coded energy that's moving through and activating your audience right now. And when you're activated and aligned with your vision and your mission and what you stand for and your success signature, now all the strategies are obvious. The next steps
Yes.
are obvious. The action items are obvious. I've even had people tell me that they can see their website. They have never been a graphic designer in their life, and they can see the color scheme. They can see where things are going to go. They can see, and on top of that, we also, of course, share the basics of business and some really cool strategic programs. So I'm so proud of it, as you can tell. I'm very excited about it.
I know many. I myself have, went through it myself. It's amazing. And I know many of my personal coaches that have gone through, or my personal coaches, the coaches that have gone through the QSCA that have gone through it and have absolutely loved it. Because, it's so true you're saying, because most people don't function from that place. They compromise that part. And I know early on I did the same thing. I would listen to the coaches that had the marketing this and I always talk about that. I had a coach that was telling me, I really wanted to speak in colleges because my message I felt could, really need to, like the message I'm giving now about 7 essential laws could really help, kids in high school, colleges. And so I had this marketing guru, that said, no, you need to speak about suicide prevention, and that's going to be your brand. Exactly. And so I did. I went out there and I did the brochures, and I went and spoke in suicide in colleges and had to tell my sister's story over and over and over. and then I brought in the 7 essential laws and stuff. And I know it did help people. But it wasn't what I should have done because I wasn't in touch. I was looking outside of myself to getting that advice from someone else and not connecting with my own, what you're talking about, that success signature. And once I realized it was like something just shifted one day. And within weeks, I had the universe talking to me about, creating the QSCA.
Yes.
Like literally. And then it was like everything lined, and it's been like that ever since.
Yeah, and the abundance that flowed from that moment of deep connection.
Yes.
It's interesting. This is actually the secret sauce that the most successful entrepreneurs on the planet do and don't even know it. They don't even know that they're doing this. But it is really what's happening. It's what separates them from people who are not doing as well or trying. What you did before was you tried.
Yeah.
And you'd got a professional coach who told you what to do. This is a very, very different model. Yeah. This is a model of you discovering who you are, discovering and getting acquainted with the master that is you. And then from that level of mastery, taking some wonderful business concepts and ideas and really cool things and tactics, and we focus very, very, very profoundly on strategy. It's one of my biggest pet peeves in corporate America. It's my biggest pet peeves with a lot of the internet marketing stuff out there, is that it's way too tactically focused. And the reason why they've been so successful with those tactics is because of the secret sauce that we're talking about right now. It's their success signature.
Yes.
And so that's why sometimes it just doesn't work. It
doesn't translate.
It didn't translate for me in that coaching program. Now, that's not to say that that coaching program was incredibly valuable, right? It was. It gave me some wonderful skills, some tactics and insights on what those tactics are and why they work. But then when you add the magic and the sprinkle, the fairy dust of your success signature, and I know that sounds a little woo-woo, but it's true. It works. You know, we've had one woman, Lean, she's from Montreal, and she, you know Lean?
No, I'm from Montreal. I live in Montreal.
Of course, that's right. You're from Montreal. And she was, she did painting. She was an artist. She did vibrational healing paintings, and she was also a healing coach. And she was in module 3 in week 2. I think she kind of zipped through it. And out of the blue, someone purchased one of her paintings and hired her as a coach for $25,000. Nice. Never done anything like it before. We had people that say once they start the program and activate their success signature, it kind of activates something in the universe for them that allows them to be more in alignment with success. Mm-hmm. That's not the case for everyone, but that's definitely something that happens and has happened for many, many people in the program. And I think part of the reason is they're finally taking that soul piece and matching it with the mind piece and marrying those two together. We actually do a little bit of that work in the program. And at every step of the way, when you're tapped into your success signature, you are tapped in to what's possible for you. And then the next piece of the program that's really, really powerful is what we call finding your ideal customer. It's kind of like the archetype of who you're selling to. And once you find that ideal customer and know it, especially from your success signature, there's kind of this connection that happens. Yes. And when that connection happens, you now can have a marketing conversation, really just a conversation, but a marketing conversation that's very, very different than what you would have had prior to that. And that's likely what happened with you, Christy, with your seven laws. When you connected into who you are in your success signature, and then you knew who your customers were from that, which are likely a little bit different than they were before. Is that right? Before.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And so then once you do that, your conversation is really different than it would have been prior to that. Before, it's a sales conversation. Now it's an activated, real conversation that does have a sales component in it for sure. And we teach how to have that conversation too, and how to do copywriting around that, how to create sales pages, opt-in pages, all that stuff. But it's now done based on a completely different framework of energy and a framework of knowing who your ideal customers. So I'm going to give your audience a little hint right now about this. Cool. This is something we only teach in the program. So I love you, Christy, and I love your audience.
Thanks, Jen.
So your ideal customer, are you ready? Drum roll. Your ideal customer is you. You are creating products and services for what you would want. Now, sometimes that ideal customer is the you that was 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 years ago. So who you were 15 years ago is who you're creating products for now. Or 5 years ago, or 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. And in some instances, it's products of who you were 2 weeks ago. It's like, gosh, I wish I had something like that. Oh, I'm going to make it. And then you sell it.
Yeah.
So now that you know your ideal customer is you can have a different conversation because you know you really well. You know what you would buy. You know what would give you credibility to say, oh, this is for real. You know the things that would make them go, yes. And so when you know that you are your ideal customer, you can now have this incredible conversation that is, oh man, marketing speak talks about things like conversion, right? This is the conversion strategy, right? Yeah. The tactic then that you can use is now write copy in your sales pages and your opt-in pages and your sales funnel and your indoctrination funnels that are really speaking from your heart to you that was. And I'm telling you, oh man, can you feel the energy just shifted again?
Yeah,
it's really fun. It's a cool program.
Jennifer, I could talk to you forever, and you're amazing, and I know your program is amazing, and we're going to actually leave a link underneath the video, so if someone wants to learn more about it, learn more about you, and get in touch with you, that they can certainly do that. So do you have one last tip, one last thing you want to say before we wrap up the show today?
Yeah, sure. Well, the first thing is the link that you're going to access is actually going to be a whole whack of free content. So we are going to, and I'm gonna be really transparent here. We've created a indoctrination funnel so that you can get to know me. And through the process of getting to know me, you're going to get a whole bunch of free material, free tips, and we're gonna be talking to you for a couple of weeks. And each conversation, we're going to give you something new that you can apply to your company right now. So I would love it is for you to experiment with this, to watch the funnel that we are delivering the content to you. So, and we'd love to hear back from you what you think. Like, is it working for you? Did this work for you? Did that work for you? We want you, this is kind of weird, but we want you to engage in the whole process. Feel the content and use it, but also watch the marketing strategy behind it, which is in alignment with me, and you are my ideal customer, so you are me before I was me. And so I want to be transparent and see what you think as you go through that process, and also receive all the amazing content. So my final tip is move from your heart. Just move from your heart, and in your heart is the master that is you, and in your heart is the place of mastery where all your questions are answered. There is no problem in your life that doesn't also come with all the resources and the knowledge and information to solve it, resolve it, and move through it. If you trust that process, your life will expand and your business will expand exponentially.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you, Christy.
So family, let us know what you're taking away from this information. Let's continue the conversation. Let's talk about it. We'll bring Jennifer into the conversation under the video. Let's talk about it. And what are you taking away? What questions do you have for Jennifer? What questions do you have for myself? This is a fun time when I get to connect with all of you personally. So please leave us a comment and have an amazing magnetic week.
Indeed. Thanks, Christy.
Thank you, Jennifer.